If you've achieved something recently, but you don't feel the way you thought you would, stay with me and let's see what my cards have to say. This message might be for you. Hello, Gemini, and welcome to your monthly tarot reading for April 2026 with me, says Mina. This reading is for Gemini Sun, Gemini Moon, and Gemini Rising. As always, this is a collective reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. Okay, so before we get into the reading, Gemini, I want to quickly talk about the channeled message that came through for you. So I was hearing Never Enough, the song Never Enough from The Greatest Showman. So I'm feeling like you've recently achieved something, Gemini, but it's not enough for you for some reason, or maybe you feel like it's not enough for someone else. There's there's a message coming through here about being disappointed after succeeding. You're not disappointed with the result. There wasn't anything wrong with the result, but I feel like you're disappointed with your reaction to achieving this. Like you expected to be happier after achieving this goal, but it feels a little empty to me. It's like there's a phrase, hold on, a hollow victory. I don't know if that's right, but that's what I'm hearing. There's also something coming through about the build up, like the work that you had to do. I do think you enjoyed that, but I think you enjoyed that more than getting to the goal itself. So if that resonated, Gemini, this reading's for you. Let's get your first card now. So the Nine of Swords. Oh, Gemini, okay. So a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety going on here. I think this is going on internally. I'm not getting you really showing this right now. I think you're keeping all of this inside. Um, I think you're, yeah, silently struggling. So, yeah, I'm getting that energy again. So it could be that you want to keep this from others right now because you don't want others to, you don't want to let people down or let someone know that you aren't satisfied with something in your life. I feel like this is something that you've worked really hard for. Yeah, that energy is very strong. It's like I'm not happy. Why aren't I happy? What's wrong with me? And I'm hearing I can't tell them that I'm not happy with this. Yeah, you're hiding this because you should be happy right now. Or you think you should be a certain way right now, but you're not, and you don't know why. This thing, this achievement, or it could be something like a milestone. It's just not giving you the excitement or the happiness or the fulfillment that it was supposed to or that you expected it to. Yeah, okay, Gemini, let's go to last month now and see what was going on. What's weird is that I think you enjoyed the build up or the work that you had to do to get to this achievement, but I don't know, it's like once you got there, it's like the energy's kind of flat or like empty. Why is that? Let's see about last month. The lovers. Okay. Hold on. So this is, yeah, okay. So this is what I was saying about enjoying the build up. Okay. You enjoyed the work involved, right? You enjoyed getting to this goal. You enjoyed the adrenaline. Because this is a card about finding something attractive and sort of enjoying that feeling. It's like enjoying the chase. But I think, yeah, it's like you enjoyed the chase. And I think during the chase, you talked up or you got your hopes up, your expectations, for that end goal. Your expectations got very high, I think. And you were very committed to this. I think this was like your whole world, it was like your whole life. I think you were putting all of your energy into this, and I think those expectations were motivating you and fueling you through any difficulties that you would have faced or any obstacles. Yeah, I think you were really excited for this last month and really excited for that end result, that moment of glory. You were really excited to complete this. I think you also had a lot of people cheering you on and rooting for you. I'm getting a message that you may have felt a little pressured by that. You may have felt like all eyes were on you, sort of thing. So maybe you had people depending on you to succeed, or at least it felt that way to you. But I don't think you noticed this pressure last month because again you were really excited and you were really enjoying that build up, that chase to, you know, succeed. Let's see what's happening this month now. Oh, okay, we've got the 3 of Swords. Yeah, you're definitely in your head this month, Gemini. The word I'm getting is confused. You're feeling confused, you're feeling stressed out, and I think you're feeling alone because you don't feel like you can confide. I don't think you feel like you can say anything about this. This feeling of something feeling unfulfilling or something not being enough for you. You don't want to be seen as ungrateful or hard to please or something along those lines. And I think you're trying really hard to hide this from your loved ones or your partner or the people close to you. And that's because you should be happy. You should be happy right now. Or at least you think you should be happy about this success. But Gemini, I don't think you are. You're not. It's not giving you the satisfaction that it should have. It just hasn't. Let me get your thoughts and feelings, to get a bit more information about this. 2 of Cups, okay. Yeah, you're like, what's wrong with me? Why aren't I happy about this? I worked so hard for this. You're like doing some psychoanalysis on yourself in April, and I think this is while you're acting like you're fine. You're hiding this from everyone. And I feel like you're doing that because they had such high hopes for you, and you had such high hopes, and like you love the build up and the work, and you thought that you would love the outcome or that you would enjoy reaching this milestone. But yeah, you're like, what's wrong with me? I think you're feeling ungrateful. I really do. It's like there's a lot of pressure coming through here, a lot of pressure on yourself in April to be happy with this. You're putting pressure on yourself to be happy or satisfied in April, even though you aren't. You really aren't, Gemini. I think you're disappointed and I think you're taking this on your shoulders and blaming yourself. You're really taking on that responsibility and thinking, there's nothing wrong with this achievement. There's nothing wrong with this success. It must be me, something's off with me. Something's not right with me. Everyone else is really excited for me. Yeah, it must be me. And I think in April, you're really struggling with keeping this to yourself. I think you really want and need a friend in April. You're thinking that you would really benefit from another opinion right now. You would really benefit from like a shoulder to cry on or a listening ear right now. But at the same time, I don't think you feel able to confide in anyone right now because you're scared of being seen as ungrateful or privileged. I don't know why I heard that word, but yeah, you're going through a tough time here, Gemini. Let's take a look at your love life and see what's going on there. Okay, so we have the Three of Pentacles. Yeah, I'm not really surprised to see this here. So you're really in your head at the moment, where your love life is concerned. I think you're wanting to not take a break. I think you're wanting to pull your energy back a little, take things a little bit slower than you have been. And that's because you feel like you've got so much going on right now. You really are in your head about a lot of things. Um, so even if you haven't got a lot going on, it definitely feels like it. I think there's just so much going on in your head right now that anything and everything seems overwhelming to you. So in April, I see you asking your partner, your person, whoever, for some patience and some, yeah, you want to take things slow at the moment. You want to slow things down. You want, I think you want a safe space in your love life in April. You want less pressure in your love life. You want some support. So I think if you're looking for a friend or someone to vent to, you might find it in your love life in April. Um, I don't know if your person is going to know all the ins and outs, all the details, because I don't think you actually feel comfortable sharing everything that you're feeling right now with anyone. But I do see that your person is going to know a bit more than everyone else, like your friends or your family. Um, Yeah, you're really looking for some support right now, some patience, and to take things slow, telling your person not everything, but just that you aren't feeling your best at the moment, and that it would mean a lot if they, made some allowances for you. So you might not be giving them the full picture, but I do see you saying, this how I'm feeling right now, this is nothing to do with you, there's just something going on with me at the moment. And I think yeah, you're coming from a very caring place here. You're doing this so that wires don't get crossed and your person doesn't think that you're being weird or different or off with them or distant. So I'm seeing some really good communication here in your love life in April. Let's go to no contact now. So we have the Seven of Pentacles. Okay, so your person is watching you and waiting for some communication from you in April, Gemini. Um, I think this has something to do with your recent achievement. Maybe you've posted that on social media, or maybe because of that, you've been more active on social media than you have been in the past. But yeah, I'm definitely seeing your person stalking your socials. I'm getting a message about you being alone in these posts, like in these pictures, and your person, they're sort of looking and they're trying to find out if you're single in April because your photos, I think, do suggest that. I do think you're alone in these photos. I do think that's to do with your achievement, but of course, we can't actually tell just from a photo whether or not somebody's single. But I do think your person is um, trying to use social media to do a little bit of detective work on you. And I do think they are hoping that it's true that you're single. I do think they're dedicating some time finding out what your relationship status is in April. Um, yeah, I think they want to see if they still have a chance with you. That's a pretty straightforward message. Let's go to home and family now. I'm looking forward to this one actually. I've got a funny feeling that there might be some more information about your current situation in this one. The Five of Pentacles, there it is again, feeling alone even with your family. Oh, Gemini, okay. So This comes back to what I was saying about you feeling as though you need to hide your feelings. You feel like you need to wear a mask right now in front of others and even your own family because you've achieved something lately and that success didn't give you the reaction that you thought it would. You know, you're disappointed and you're confused, like you don't understand why you're feeling this way. I definitely think that's a mystery for you right now, but yeah, you had your family, I think, cheering you on, and there was this pressure on you to, get to this point, get to that success, and you feel pressure as well, I think, to be happy with this success, this achievement, but you don't. You just don't. I don't think you know why, but you don't feel happy with this success, but you don't want your family to know this. You don't feel like you can drop your mask at the moment and say, you know what? I'm not excited about this. I enjoyed the build up. I enjoyed the work involved. I enjoyed that chase. But if I'm being honest, this isn't what I thought it would be. So maybe this was something that your family wanted for you, or maybe they paid for it. Um, Maybe that's why you feel obligated to enjoy this. That's just an example, but there's definitely an obligation here to be excited and to be happy and satisfied with the end result. But you don't feel that you can say that, you feel pressured to keep that to yourself, you know, and this is making you feel very alone in April. You're feeling isolated. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Gemini. We'll get you some advice soon, but for now, let's go to career. Strength. Okay, interesting. I think yeah, this is the mask again. So, this achievement that we've been talking about could definitely be linked to your work, or I'm hearing your future. Okay, that makes sense. That can be heavy, right? Thinking about the future. But yeah, you're disappointed, you're confused. You're feeling like this isn't enough and you don't know why. But you've still got to go to work, right? You've still got to do that. And so this card to me is saying that you're keeping it together on the surface, and honestly, Gemini, you're doing a really good job considering your predicament. You're going to be handling this pressure very well. You've got that mask on, and I think you can pretend that everything is okay. And that is a big accomplishment considering the amount of anxiety and the amount of stress and other emotions that we've seen throughout the reading. You're very good. I think you're very good at going into like work mode. So it could be that this is an achievement or a skill or something that you're going to be using at work. It could be a degree. And so I think you may even have to look at the thing that's causing you stress and anxiety while you work. This thing that's causing you so much internal conflict. But even though you're having to do that, you're still like, you've got that poker face and you've got that mask on, and I don't think you're letting it slip. Yeah. Okay, let's go to finances now. Emperor. Okay, so you're definitely feeling stressed, Gemini, and I think like I said, I think you're quite good about not letting this internal conflict, this stress, this anxiety affect your life. But with that being said, I do see you needing an outlet. I do see you needing a sense of control in an area of your life to feel able to keep that up, to keep that act up, and keep that mask on. And I think that area is your finances. So I think you're going to be a little bit of a control freak with your money this month. And I think that's to give yourself a feeling of control because You feel so out of control in the rest of your life right now. It's to like, manage your money. I think that's going to be like meditation for you. You're going to, I think, feel better about the other things if your money is looking good. I think it's more just to give your brain something to focus on. It could be like a little bit of escapism that you're doing there. Um, but I'm definitely seeing some analysis going on there, some budgeting and things like that. Um, there's also a message here about planning um, for the future too. I don't know if there's something in your future that maybe you use as like motivation or something like that. Maybe you're planning a trip or a vacation or I don't know, a big purchase, but there's something that I think your finances are a way for you to escape and also a way for you to get a sense of control in April. So let's go to your social circle now. What's going on in your social life, Gemini? The Hanged Man. Yeah, this is just like your love life. You're pulling your energy back. You're needing some space. I think you're pulling your energy back to sort of deal with your mental overload that you've got going on. I think you also need a lot of energy for work right now. I just heard that, but yeah, this is you pulling your energy back from your friends. I don't think you're doing this on purpose. Maybe you are, but I think it's more to do with the fact that you're really in your head at the moment. So you might feel or be coming across as disconnected, or I'm hearing away with the fairies. Your friends may actually say that to you, they'll be saying, "Are you okay? You seem like you're in your own little world at the moment. What's going on?" But again, there's this feeling of obligation, this feeling of it's me, something's wrong with me. I should be happy about this and I'm not. I'll just pretend that I am. You could struggle with sharing your emotions with others. I'm hearing something about your emotions are your problem and not anyone else's. Like I don't want to burden anyone with my emotions. Maybe a little bit of people pleasing coming through there, but yeah, you're going to be a little bit away with the fairies in April and a little distracted with your friends. Okay, you could also be questioning if you fit in with your friends, especially if your friends are in the same boat as you, if they've achieved the same thing as you or something similar recently, and they're all psyched and they're all excited about it, and you're not, and so I think because of that, you may be viewing yourself as being a different kettle of fish to your friends in April too. Um, yeah, let's go to your advice now, Gemini. Eight of Cups. Okay, Gemini, this achievement didn't make you happy. Okay, it's not you, it's the achievement. The first thing that you need to do is stop excusing that with, oh, there must be something wrong with me. Everyone else is happy with it. Why aren't I? No, Gemini, your body and your emotions are telling you something here. And even though it's scary, you need to accept that and acknowledge that, this thing, whatever it is, no matter how badly you wanted this originally, it's not what you want now. You need to find something else because this isn't what you want. It isn't for you. Um, I can totally understand about not wanting to let anyone down, or maybe this is something most people want, and it's something that would make most people happy. Maybe there's a fear there of being different. Maybe you don't want to be different. Maybe you guys fear being unique and standing out. But Gemini, this thing, this achievement, even though you enjoyed that build up, you enjoyed that chase, you don't want it. And I think that's why That's why you're feeling so stressed, because I think you can feel this coming. You can feel that need for acceptance coming. You can feel change coming. And I think you find that thought quite scary, but your advice is to accept it, okay? And leave this thing that isn't enough for you behind and start looking for something that is. Let's see about next month now. So, this is your last card, Gemini. Yeah, death and transformation. Here's that acceptance, Gemini. This thing is not enough for you. And I don't think it's going to take you long to figure that out. I think you've just got to get past that obstacle of blaming yourself. But in May, you've accepted this and you're on your way to finding something else, something new, something that's going to give you that feeling of satisfaction, that feeling of satisfaction from achieving instead of feeling flat and empty after success. Yeah, I think once you get past your fear of starting all over again, you'll rediscover that excitement that comes from something that you actually want. I definitely see that you like the chase, you like the build up and the work towards success. But Gemini, that doesn't mean anything if what you're working towards won't be enough. If that milestone or that achievement won't give you satisfaction and fulfillment, what's the point? I think that is your mindset in May. You're going to be, exploring different options and asking yourself, you know, is this something that I actually want? Because if I don't want this, what's the point? I may enjoy the work, I may enjoy the build up, I may enjoy the chase, but is this actually something that I want? Okay, I think that's all that's coming through here, so I'm going to leave it there. I hope this gave you something to think about, Gemini, and I hope it helped you in some way. But for now, I will see you in my next reading. Take care.